Imagine this: you're going about your daily routine, maybe checking your online banking app to pay a bill or transfer some funds, when something completely unexpected catches your eye. It's not a new fee or a strange charge from a store you visited, but something far more profound, something that, if you understand its implications, could very well change your entire financial future. What if, nestled within the familiar digital interface of your major U.S. bank, be it Chase, Bank of America, or Wells Fargo, you saw it? Not just the usual pairs of USD to Euro or USD to GBP, but a listing, clear as day, for the Vietnamese Dong. The VND, right there, trading, with a live buy and sell rate, accessible to you, the average account holder. This is not a drill, and this is not a speculative theory from a fringe blog. This is the very scenario we are going to explore today, a phenomenon that is beginning to flicker to life within the core financial systems of the West, suggesting a seismic shift in the global monetary landscape that most of the mainstream financial media is utterly oblivious to. The simple, shocking premise is this: U.S. banking systems are beginning to show preparatory exchange activity for the Vietnamese Dong, and this is not a random glitch but a carefully orchestrated preamble to a global currency revaluation event that will reshape wealth distribution across the planet. For years, the narrative surrounding so-called exotic or blocked currencies like the Vietnamese Dong and the Iraqi Dinar has been one of skepticism and outright dismissal. We've been told they are poor investments, that their revaluation is a fantasy, a dream peddled by gurus to sell currency bundles. But what if that narrative itself was the curtain, designed to keep the average person from looking behind it until the most powerful players had already secured their positions? The emergence of exchange activity within the fortified digital walls of American financial institutions fundamentally changes the game. It moves the conversation from the realm of internet forums and into the realm of tangible, observable banking software. This activity is the digital equivalent of a soundcheck before a grand concert. It's the testing of the microphones, the tuning of the instruments, the final checks before the main event begins. These systems do not just accidentally list a currency. Their integration requires complex international agreements, updated SWIFT protocols, and compliance with a host of global financial regulations. The appearance of the Dong is a silent scream in a world of financial noise, a signal that the necessary back-end work has been completed. Think about the sheer infrastructure required. For your bank to offer you the ability to buy or sell Vietnamese Dong, it must first have a liquidity pool. It must have secure corridors to transfer the currency. It must have established relationships with correspondent banks in Vietnam. It must have its software updated by teams of developers to include the new currency pair. All of this costs millions of dollars and thousands of man-hours. Do you genuinely believe these massive, profit-driven corporations are making such a significant investment on a whim? Or is it because they are acting on intelligence, on treaties and agreements that have been signed behind closed doors, preparing for a moment of global financial reset? This is the part of the movie where the smart characters see the tiny clues that everyone else misses, the subtle changes in the environment that signal the coming storm. The banking software is our clue. It is the canary in the coal mine. For the skeptics who will say this is just a test for tourists or for limited commercial use, I urge you to think bigger. This is not about making it easier for a traveler to get Dong for a trip to Hanoi. This is about the formal, international recognition of Vietnam's economic metamorphosis. It is about acknowledging that the nation has successfully navigated its transition from a war-torn, centrally planned economy to a dynamic, manufacturing, and technological powerhouse with a staggering growth rate that makes Western economies look stagnant. The currency, currently valued in a way that does not reflect this new reality, is a coiled spring, and the banking systems are the first to feel the pressure building. They are the first to register the tremors before the earthquake, and for those with the awareness to look at the seismograph, the message is unmistakable: something huge is coming. This is not hope, this is data. This is not a prayer, it is a pattern. The pattern is clear, and it is showing up on the very screens that manage the wealth of millions of Americans. The question is, will you be one of the people who sees it in time? To truly grasp the magnitude of what the appearance of the Vietnamese Dong in U.S. banks signifies, we must pull the camera back and look at the global chessboard, because this move is not happening in isolation. It is intrinsically linked to the long-awaited and endlessly discussed revaluation of the Iraqi dinar, and together, they form a one-two punch that will knock the breath out of the current global financial system. For over a decade, the Iraqi dinar community has been a bastion of both fervent hope and intense scrutiny, with investors following every piece of intel from sources like MarkZ and analyses from voices like Pimpy, dissecting Iraqi political news and central bank announcements for any hint of the impending RV. The narrative has always been that Iraq, sitting atop some of the world's largest proven oil reserves and with an economy desperate to modernize and reintegrate with the global community, needs a stronger currency to facilitate trade, rebuild its nation, and shed the economic burdens imposed after the Saddam era. The dong and the dinar are two sides of the same coin, no pun intended. They represent two distinct paths to the same destination, a global monetary reset that moves the world away from its dependence on the US dollar as the sole reserve currency. Vietnam's story is one of explosive economic growth and export power, a tangible, productive economy demanding a currency that reflects its true value. Iraq's story is one of vast, untapped resource wealth, a store of value waiting to be unlocked. The activation of one is almost certainly a precursor to the activation of the other. Think of it as a sequence. The global financial powers, operating through institutions like the IMF and the World Bank, cannot simply flip a switch and revalue every undervalued currency at once. It would cause instant, uncontrollable chaos. There has to be an order of operations, a carefully choreographed dance. The emergence of the dong in banking system suggests it may be one of the first dominoes to fall, or at least one of the first to be publicly acknowledged as ready to fall. Why? Because Vietnam represents a safer bet in the eyes of the West. It's a stable, single-party state with a clear and consistent economic trajectory, a manufacturing hub critical to global supply chains. Revaluing the dong first acts as a proof of concept. It demonstrates that such a massive reset is possible without collapsing the system. It allows wealth to begin flowing into a productive, growing economy, and it provides a tangible success story to point to when the more complex and politically fraught revaluation of the Iraqi dinar occurs. The data we are seeing is not just about software updates, it's about geopolitical strategy. The 2025 timeline that is so often discussed is not a random guess. It aligns with numerous global economic forecasts, debt cycle culminations, and international meetings focused on a new Bretton Woods-style agreement. The insights from intel providers, when stripped of the hype and noise, consistently point towards this period as a nexus point. When you hear MarkZ discuss certain banks ramping up or Pimpy analyzing the gold backing of currencies, they are essentially reporting on the same underlying preparation that the appearance of the dong confirms. The banking systems are the hard proof of the soft intel. This is the moment where theory meets reality. The constant fluctuations in the USD exchange rate that we see reported daily are not just random noise, they are the death throes of an old system struggling to maintain its dominance against the incoming tide of a multipolar financial world. The expert analysis on how changes in the Iraqi dinar exchange rate impact the global economy is no longer an abstract exercise, it is becoming a real-time event. The potential for the dinar RV is no longer a potential, it is an inevitability that is being staged right before our eyes, using the Vietnamese Dong as the opening act. This is the ultimate inside access. The banks are not doing this for you, they are doing it for themselves and their most valuable clients. But in their haste to prepare their systems for the coming flood of transactions and the new landscape of wealth, they have left a door open for everyone to see what is coming. The listing of the dong is that open door. It is a breach in the wall of financial secrecy. It is the most important financial news story of the decade, and it is being broadcast not on CNN or Bloomberg, but in the quiet, sterile environment of your own online banking portal, waiting for someone with the knowledge and the courage to understand what it truly means. So, where does this leave you, the investor, the watcher, the person who has spent years, perhaps, following this story with a mixture of hope and apprehension? The data is clear, the signs are there, and the timeline is converging. The appearance of the Vietnamese Dong in U.S. banking systems is the single most credible and tangible piece of evidence we have ever received that the global currency revaluation is not a myth but a meticulously executed financial operation entering its final phases. This knowledge, however, is useless without action. Understanding the seismograph doesn't stop the earthquake, it allows you to get to higher ground. The first and most critical step is to shift your mindset from that of a spectator to that of a participant. The window between the initial signs, like the one we are discussing now, and the public announcement is historically very narrow. When this event goes mainstream, it will be a frenzy. The news channels will scramble to explain it, the banks will be flooded with calls, and the opportunity to acquire or exchange at the most favorable rates will be measured in hours, not days. Your preparedness is your greatest asset. This means having a concrete plan. Do you know which bank you will use? Have you established a relationship with a bank that is already showing this activity or one that has a strong international desk? Have you familiarized yourself with their procedures for foreign currency exchange, especially for larger amounts? Now is the time to make those inquiries, to have those conversations, but to do so with discretion and wisdom. This is not the time to shout from the rooftops at your local branch. It is the time to be a quiet professional, gathering your information and ensuring your paperwork is in order. The second key area is vigilance. The organic data stream is now more critical than ever. The insights from trusted sources remain valuable because they can provide context for the hard data we are starting to see. When MarkZ reports that certain financial institutions are conducting dry runs, and then you see the Dong appear in a U.S. bank, that is a correlation that confirms the narrative. When Pimpy's analysis of Vietnam's economic growth aligns with their currency becoming accessible, that is another confirmation. Your role is to become a data analyst yourself, cross-referencing the soft intel with the hard, observable facts in the financial world. Watch for official announcements from the Vietnamese State Bank or the Iraqi Central Bank regarding new exchange rate mechanisms or the removal of currency trading restrictions. These will be the official triggers. The third, and perhaps most important, aspect is to manage your expectations and conduct your own due diligence. The world of currency investment, especially in this realm, has always been fraught with misinformation and scams. The energy surrounding a confirmed event like this will be a magnet for bad actors. Protect your personal information. Be wary of anyone offering you special access or guaranteed rates for a fee. The legitimate exchange will happen through your established, FDIC-insured bank or licensed financial institution, not through a random email or a social media message. Your journey to this point, your patience in waiting for a sign that this was real, has just been validated in the most profound way possible. The hook of this entire discussion was the shocking notion of seeing the Dong in your U.S. bank account. That hook is now your reality. It is the proof that you were right to pay attention, that the countless hours spent sifting through news and analysis were not wasted. You are now in possession of a piece of knowledge that 99% of the world's population is completely unaware of. You have seen the flashing red light on the financial dashboard that most people are ignoring. This knowledge carries a responsibility, the responsibility to act wisely, calmly, and decisively. The global economic landscape is about to change forever, and wealth on an unprecedented scale is going to be transferred. This transfer will not be based on luck. It will be based on awareness. It will flow towards those who saw the signs, understood the data, and positioned themselves accordingly. You now have that awareness. The door to the old financial system is closing, and a new one, filled with opportunity, is creaking open. The question is no longer if, but when, and your next moves in this crucial period will define your financial destiny for generations to come. So, I am telling you right now, do not let this moment pass you by. Do not be a passive viewer of your own life. This is the culmination of everything we have been watching and waiting for. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, you need to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now, because the daily updates we provide on Forex exchange rates, global financial policies, and key economic indicators are about to become the most critical information stream you possess. We are moving from the phase of prediction into the phase of reporting live events. You need to be here, with us, every single day as this story unfolds in real time. This is not just another video, this is your wake-up call. Subscribe now, because what happens next will change everything, and you need to be fully informed and ready to act when the moment arrives.